Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. Got a good video for y'all. We're going to be talking about painted bladed spinnerbaits today, where you got the chartreuse or white blades versus like the traditional nickel or gold blades that you see on a lot of spinnerbaits. There are times when a painted bladed spinnerbait will catch 10 times the bass than a regular one. So I'm going to sort of go over the conditions and the situations that they work in the best and sort of give you guys some tips and advice on that in today's episode here. Also, guys, I will put the painted bladed spinnerbait, some of my favorite ones, in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to use my link to order a couple of them, it's a good way to get you some baits and help the channel out. And also, guys, one final thing, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, shoot me a private message. Randy, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. I actually changed my Facebook name, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat Facebook. Shoot me a private message and I'll get you the details on that. Okay, these are, this is like, they call it like the Ozark Special. This painted bladed spinnerbait deal was another one of the baits that sort of originated here in the Missouri Ozarks. We've been using these things for years. I remember the first painted bladed spinnerbait I ever saw. I was fishing an old Redman tournament back in 1985 up at Truman Lake. And one of the guys that did real good in the tournament, in fact, I think he won the tournament, caught him on a white bladed spinnerbait. And that's the first I'd ever heard of it. I'd never heard of anyone using anything except a silver or gold blade. And they didn't make them back then. Actually, he just took some spray paint and spray painted it white. So they've been around a long time. This is nothing new, but there's been some advancements in the different type of color options that they have. Like this one's got a copper back on it and a chartreuse side. And a lot of them are just straight. Let me pull another one out here. You know, a lot of them are just straight colored. They don't have the back side like that. Grab one here. So they're just, some of them are just solid on both sides. Okay, so let's talk about when you want to use a painted blade versus any other type of a thing. First of all, it's sort of a paradox. There's a lot of different conflicting situations where they work in. My favorite way and my favorite time to fish any type of a painted bladed spinnerbait is in obviously dirty water. I think this is a really good bait in dirty water. It doesn't matter if it's one like that, like a double chartreuse, or sometimes you can get them like this where you got one of them that's white and one of them that's chartreuse. This is probably actually my favorite combination, the white with the chartreuse combo there. There are certain situations we'll talk about where I like the dual yellows or chartreuses, but that white and chartreuse is a really good color combination for that off-colored water. So if you got water visibility that is like less than a foot, that sort of that 6 to 12 inch of visibility, painted bladed spinnerbait is definitely a really good lure to have in those situations there. Another thing with the painted bladed spinnerbait is they seem to work better if the water temperature is over about 60 degrees. I catch a lot of fish on a spinnerbait when the water's in the 50s, not so much on the painted blades. It seems a little bit warmer water's a little bit better. And also, a painted bladed spinnerbait is really, really good in very shallow water, like water less than 3 foot deep. So some of the best success I've had on the painted blades have been like throwing, dirty water, like 8-10 inches of clarity, shallow water cover in less than 3 foot of water. It could be shallow grass, it could be lily pads, it could be rocks, lay down trees, anything like that, bushes in the water. All that stuff can be really, really good for a blade, a painted blade. And also a painted blade works really good on a rainy day. One thing that you'll find out about bass fishing is that bass like chartreuse on a rainy day. It doesn't matter if it's a black and chartreuse jig or a chartreuse spinnerbait or chartreuse buzzbait or a blackback chartreuse crankbait. They really like chartreuse on those cloudy days. So dirty water, cloudy conditions are going to be when this is really, really good. Okay, the other is a paradox like we're talking about on the other end of the spectrum. This is also a really good color in gin clear water for specifically burning and catching smallmouth and spotted bass. One of the favorite ways and one of the funnest ways that there is in bass fishing, in my opinion, is taking these bright colored spinnerbaits right here, burning them that far underneath the surface, just high on the water column, for smallmouth and spotted bass in clear water. Now, this is a real famous technique up on the Great Lakes, big smallmouth on those northern fisheries. I've had some incredibly fun days. You'll be reeling this thing across the water, and it looks like a dang banana. You can see it coming forever. Like, it looks like a dang banana coming out of the water, and those big smallmouth will come out of nowhere and just hammer the thing. And you can also catch them in not just northern bodies of water, but if you have a lake that has clear water, and especially a lake that has a mix of some spotted bass and largemouth, I've done really good on the painted, on the painted blades, like in the fall time of the year, or the late post spawn, like, you know, late May or October, November, on a windy, cloudy day in really clear water visibility over 4 or 5 foot, burning it just under the surface, parallel to like bluffy banks and steep rocky banks. That's a really good way to catch them. I've caught tons of fish here in the Ozarks doing that. Big spotted bass on it, especially in the late fall, can be pretty good. But it's worth to have some in your box, guys. Like I said, if I give you any recommendations, just pick you up a couple on my Tackle Warehouse link that's got the white and chartreuse combination there. Slow roll it around off-colored water, you know, coming up the spring once that water gets above about 60. And it's a good way to catch some good fish on that. So hope it helps you guys out. See you.